Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 7 of reading through the New Testament in 90-ish days. Today we're doing Matthew 18 through 20. Matthew 18 opens with the apostles asking Jesus, who will be the greatest in heaven? And Jesus calls a little kid over and says, look, if you want to be the greatest in heaven, you have to humble yourself like this child. You have to approach the gospel with a sense of wonder. Jesus then goes on to say, if anybody would cause a child like this to sin, it would be better for them to have a millstone tied around his neck and thrown into the deepest waters. So there you go. You got the Jesus approved punishment for PDF files. Jesus reiterates that it is better if to cut off your hand and gouge out your eyes if they are causing you to sin. I don't recommend doing either one of those things, but I do recommend that, as we grow as Christians, it's important to cast aside the old you, cast aside the parts of you that desire sins, and purify the parts of you that desire a relationship with God. What do you do if a brother sins against you? We go back to when we were differentiating between judging someone and holding someone accountable. Jesus says if somebody sins against you, if one of your fellow Christians sins against you, you go and confront them on your own without anybody else around you. And if he continues to sin against you, you go back and confront him again, but this time bring 2 or 3 witnesses with you. And if he still continues to sin against you, then you tell the whole church, and the whole church confronts the sinner. And if the man refuses to stop sinning, well, then you treat him like he's no longer a member of the church. So again, if somebody continues to sin and they're calling themselves a Christian, it's okay to hold them accountable. You're not judging them. Jesus then tells the parable of the unforgiving servant. There was a servant who owed his master a large sum of money. And the master came to have him arrested until he could pay the money back. And the servant said, please, master, please forgive me my debt. And the master goes, you know what? You've been a good servant. I'll go ahead and just forgive this debt for you. And as the servant walked away from that confrontation, the servant goes and finds his fellow servant that owes him a very small amount of money. And he grabs that servant by the neck and holds him up against the wall and starts choking him and says, hey, give me the money you owe me. And when the master found out about it, he goes back and he tells the servant, no, I'm not going to forgive you your debt. What are you doing? You wouldn't forgive your fellow servant this small amount of money, but you're grateful to me because I forgave you a large amount of money? No, you're going to jail. So he put the original servant in jail for not forgiving others as he himself had been forgiven. Jesus then goes on to condemn no-fault divorce. He cites Genesis saying a man is meant to leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. They are supposed to become one flesh. So again, unless your spouse is cheating on you or abusing you, then you're supposed to stay in the marriage and work it out. That's what Jesus commands. A rich young man says, Jesus, what good deeds do I have to do in order to achieve eternal life? And Jesus says, why are you talking about doing good? There's only one good person, and that's God. You're not going to be as good as he is. My advice to you is to keep the commandments. And the rich young man says, well, which commandments? And then Jesus rattles off a few, and the rich young man goes, I've done all those commandments. I've kept them. And Jesus says, oh, well, if you want to be perfect, then sell all your items, all your goods, all your properties, and give all the money to the poor, and then come and follow me. And the rich young man goes, well, I don't really want to do that. And he goes away. And Jesus turns to his disciples and he says, one of the better quotes in the Bible, again, I tell you, it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. So Jesus tells the parable of the laborers in the vineyard. He tells the owner of the vineyard goes out and hires some people to work his field. And he hires them in the morning and they agree one full day's wage of pay in compensation. So they work through the hottest part of the day, and towards the end of the day, when it finally starts cooling down, the owner of the field goes out and hires some more people to work the field. And so they didn't have to work as long as the first people, and they didn't have to work in the hottest part of the day as the first people. And at the end of the day, he pays them a full sum of wage. And then the original people that were hired, they say, well, we're probably going to get more than those other people, but they also only get a full day's wage. And they start complaining. They said, why are you paying us the same as these other people when we worked a lot longer than them and we worked in the hottest part of the day? And the owner says, look, didn't you agree to do this for a full day's wage when I hired you in the morning? What I believe Jesus is saying here is, there's people that are born into Christianity and spend their whole lives trying to be a good Christian. And there's people like me. I was an atheist for a significant portion of my life. I did not convert to Christianity until I was 33. And I'm one of the people that got hired at the end of the day. So I didn't grow up as a Christian, but I am very thankful to Jesus that I'm still going to get the eternal life that everybody else gets for believing in him. And it's not too late for you either if you haven't believed in Jesus yet. Jesus again, they are getting closer to Jerusalem, and Jesus again foretells his death and resurrection in 3 days. Then the mother of the sons of Zebedee. The sons of Zebedee are two brothers that are apostles. The mother comes over to Jesus and says, hey, Jesus, when you die and go into the kingdom of heaven and my sons join you, can one sit on your left hand and one sit on your right hand as you sit on the throne? And the other apostles get a little upset. They're like, hey, why are you trying to make a special deal with Jesus? All of us are equal. All of us are apostles. And Jesus says, listen, all of you. If you want to be first in the kingdom of heaven, you have to be a servant. Whoever is the servants will be first, and whoever is first here on earth will be last in heaven. He then goes on to say, the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Jesus then heals two blind men. Tomorrow we are going to be doing Matthew 21 and 22, so please read your homework and meet me back here tomorrow. If you have any comments, if you like to stitch this video, please, by all means. Otherwise, do your homework and God bless.